think he'll mostly concentrate on the economy, talking about some of the things that he's been able to do over the past year, which we have seen the Dow Jones go up past 25, 26,000. I think he'll concentrate on things like that and talk about the things that he wants to do as he's going through the rest of at least his first term. He may get somewhat ambitious and try and talk about a second term, but I think he's going to keep it more short term at this point in time. He also probably will want to talk about trying to create more jobs. As far as North Korea, I think he'll also talk about that, but mostly I think he's going to be on the economy because that's his biggest positive at this point. I don't know as he's going to be able to achieve a whole lot. We're coming up on an election a little bit later on this year. Generally what we find is that in the midterm elections, the party that's got the White House, in this case the Republicans, tends to lose ground in Congress. So I think he'll probably find that Congress is going to be a little more obstructionist once he gets into 2019. What he'll be able to accomplish after that, probably not as much as he'd like. He's very much lacking in trying to pull this country together. I'm not so certain that any president, truth be told, can pull this country together like he's hoping to try and get everyone to band behind one leader. I think we're much too divided as a country to be able to do that. So I think he's failed on that part, but economically he's starting to get there. Got a long way to go though.
Probably his election, how he beat Hillary, how he got the most votes out of anybody in the history of the Electoral College, and the economy, and how he has passed more laws than anyone else has ever done, even though he's only passed like, what, 2? I think he might try, but I don't think it will actually be something that is meaningful and will have an impact because he doesn't have a plan. He has words and slogans and little catchphrases that catch on for people, but not actually anything of substance and any kind of policy. I mean, if anyone can actually tell me his policy other than America First, which doesn't mean anything, then that would be great, but we don't have an actual policy. Yeah, he'll probably say that we're going to have the most beautiful wall, that it's going to be the best wall that anyone has ever seen, because that's what his base wants to hear. But he will probably also try and blame Democrats and say that we can't get funding for it because the Democrats want to help dreamers, when we should be okay with helping children who were brought here without their own accord. Whether he gets stuff accomplished is whether or not we as voters put the pressure on the Republicans or anyone in office, really, including Democrats who recently didn't do what they said they were going to do. But if we put the pressure on our representatives, then we can get stuff that we want done as the constituents. But whether he's going to get anything accomplished depends on his mood and who he talks to at the moment.
If this memo gets released by the Intelligence Committee, then we could be looking at a whole new dynamic with the Justice Department. It'd be hard not to bring that up and talk about it if it's a bombshell like they just say it may be. Other than that, of course, he's going to talk his accomplishments and the amount of jobs he's created, the type of feeling that we're seeing in the economy every single day by your average American out here. We're making money, and for the first time, I think that we see a lot of people that have a degree of optimism. Small business in particular feel like there's somebody on their side for a change. And for so long, we've had governments that did nothing but impede small business, and that's not moving our country forward. So I think there's a lot of people out here that work in the real world. We hire the man to do a job. We don't have time to follow every single aspect that he does, but we trust that he's going to do what's right for America. America first is his agenda. I think he's pulled that off, and I think that he's got the stats to back that up. He'll certainly talk a lot about that. But to me, it all hinges on this memo. What's in this memo about the FBI? If we get into the Obama administration, possibly using the Justice Department, it gets pretty hairy. So I would think it would have to be spoke of then too. So I think he's willing to talk about it. I think most of us rationally understand we're not going to deport a bunch, 1.3 million or whatever the number is now, of DACA recipients. So getting them, amnesty is a hard word for conservatives to swallow, but the truth is there's a amnesty now, whether we admit it or not. The amnesty's already in play, so we need to figure out a way to make that happen. And I think he's willing to work with that and make sure that in the future that we move forward with that off the table. and we need to secure the border. And if he can get the border secured, get the wall going, and work with DACA to get that done, that's what he's going to do. And he's going to negotiate it like he did with Schumer, and he's going to win again. Politics is so strange. I think that the entrance of Doug Jones and his way of looking, he's had to turn a conservative kind of slant to his, if he has a chance of election again. So, I think that he'll get them together. He may not get them together the way they want to get together. I don't think Schumer wanted to cave, but I think that he knew that the upcoming elections for the House are more important than him making a grandstand with a topic that shouldn't have been on the agenda with the budget debate in the first place. Oh, he's killing it. He's trumping everything. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I voted for him for that reason. I know he's kind of a car wreck. It's hard to watch sometimes, but man, you know where he's coming from. I knew I was electing a New Yorker, and I knew that there would be things and certain mannerisms that I want to appreciate as a conservative, but buck stops with America first, and we got to get America working. And I think he's 100% focused on that, and he saved us from a possible Hillary administration that I think would have tanked us.
All right, I'm Joe Liker with the Joe Liker Show, and I've been asked to talk about Donald Trump. What is he going to say on the State of the Union? Well, we know he's going to talk about the economy, number one. He's going to, talk about, the increase in the economy, the decrease in unemployment. What I hope to see is that he's going to try to bring more unity in the country by bringing all communities together when he's working on a DACA plan and things of that nature, and give us a clear understanding as the President of the United States of where we are going. I understand he wants the borders. I understand he wants the walls. All great. We're going to make those things happen. But we got to do building inside our communities in our countries, because right now there's a huge divide between the Republican and the Democratic Party. So I really hope to see Donald Trump try to bridge some of those gaps. And I hope to see that some of the Democrats are going to start trying to work with some of the Republicans to help our president be successful in his 4 or 8 year term that he's serving our country. Sometimes I think he will. Then sometimes I think he's probably going to use it against people who don't want to go with his deal. The biggest thing is he does want the wall built, and he wants the funding for it. So I think he's going to use that as his leverage. Now, how much he's going to use with that, I'm really not for sure, because Donald Trump changes from day to day. Today he may be for it, tomorrow he may not. So I'm not for sure about that one. He's going to bring up all the unemployment rate, how low it is right now. He's going to bring about how the tax cuts actually worked for the American people, and some of these big companies like Apple, Walmart, I think Samsung are giving back, some of the bonuses back to the employees. So that is a credit to our president. He did do a great job with that. He mastered that deal, and a lot of these companies are now in a position, because of the 21%, from 35 to 21%, they are now able to do some things for their employees. So that's going to be a good thing. So we do thank our president for that. Now, I haven't seen a lot of evidence about the coal miners things happening. People are saying that some of these jobs are coming back, but let's just be real about where coal mining is. It's not clean energy. No matter what Donald Trump promises about coal mining, the world and globally we're moving to cleaner energy. So at some point, those jobs are going away, and that's a reality that we have to face. I think Donald Trump is learning in his first year. I think he's made a lot of mistakes. He's done a lot of things I don't like, but I'm going to wish him the best. I think that from this point on, that what we see, that's what we got for the next 4 years, for the next 3 years. Some of his tactics, the way he goes about things, I'm not crazy about that at all. But the tax cuts he did do, the unemployment is down, but around the globe, we have some issues. We got North Korea going on. We have the issues going on with all these other countries. So going around name calling and getting into it with everybody on Twitter, I don't think is the smartest thing. So let me just say this. I wish our president the best, and I hope that things are going to go a little bit smoother in this next 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first question, what do you think Donald Trump's going to talk about during his State of the Union?
I think he's going to be a little showboatish about what he thinks he's achieved this year. And he's going to also probably get nag on probably the Democratic side because of all this fight over DACA and the wall and immigration.
and women's health care and all that stuff. And I just think it's just going to be like his Twitter. It's just going to be a bunch of rambling nonsense, to be honest. But as we've seen, they've been letting people off in a lot of places. They're like Walmart, they've given bonuses to people who've been working there for 20 plus years, yet they're closing over so many other stores around the country too, letting all those other people off. And then there's all those coal mines too that they're losing their jobs too and everything as well. And it's he thinks he's creating something, but he's really not. He might see a little growth around him because that's what people want. They want to make sure he's happy, but I don't think there's anything positive from that. I don't think either side is going to get really anything that they need or that they want. One side's going to compromise a little more than the other side, and because of so, it's going to affect it. And what's so bad is about it, both sides, both things that these people are fighting for, hurts people regardless of how they vote. They vote more for the wall, you're just hurting that side because people aren't just coming over by the wall or anything like that. They're coming other ways. They don't need to just climb a wall. And then if you take away DACA and everything, you've got all these kids that I grew up with that are being sent to this country they know nothing about, you know. So if they ever come up with something together, that'd be great, but let's see. High hopes, I guess. That's been the pattern. The last few presidents we've seen, two-term presidents ever since Bush Sr., but hopefully he'll step down after that. He seems like he likes to be the showboat only for a little while, and he's like, okay, I'm done with it. You know, it's like with the show and everything. He needs to watch what he says more, and he needs to get off Twitter. I'm a 27-year-old female, and I don't even have a Twitter account.